Yo, how you doing? Forgot to put my little banner back up there. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. I know it's been about a week or so. Your boy's been traveling and your boy's been busy, but I'm still been here for you guys, making vids. What a day, eh? What a day. I mean, my word. What is this? What the hell is this? Disgusting. And I have some unfortunate news, guys. Oh, if you've been on the channel for a while, man, you know I have some unfortunate news for you. Yet again, here we are. I'll talk about that in a little bit, though. More than anything, I'm happy to be back with you guys. I feel like I haven't been on live for a while. Happy to have everybody in. I see the homie Brillo never misses. What's up, homie? Masood, I hope I got that right. Crypto Bots Master, Barack, George, Diego, Marcus, Ali, Dennis, everybody, Accenti, welcome in, Mr. Flubby Boy, and S. What's up, everyone? Happy to have you all in here. Man, what a day. What a couple days. I'm going to recap today. I don't have a ton of time, guys. I am actually heading on a family vacation, which I haven't taken one of those in years. A quick little family trip later this week. I'm going to be gone from Thursday to Sunday. Then I'm actually headed out to Bitcoin Vegas next week. So your boy's going to be a little bit on the move again. So what I want to do today is really just go over what's been happening, give you more of a macro update on what's happening from a grand scheme of things, and then I'll tell you what I'm looking for over the next couple days. Okay. So yeah, Kevin KO, you best believe we'll be talking about lizard people today. So yeah, so today what we'll do is we'll kind of talk about what's been happening in the market, talk about some news that we've gotten recently, fucking nothing burgers as per usual, and then we'll dive a little bit into what I'm expecting. I have a couple things I want to share with you, and I have something exciting, something that I'm really exciting, something that I'm going to be giving you guys completely for free, no strings attached. I'm going to be giving you guys something pretty exciting pretty soon here. So stay tuned. This isn't out yet, but it is coming out very soon. And I'm very excited about it. But I'm not going to show you anything too soon. But just stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all about it. But first and foremost, let's kind of talk about where we've been. Okay, let's talk about where we've been, what's been happening. Well, this is the Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour time frames. And what we can see here is that over the last, 10 days, 11 days or so, we've just been seeing the crypto market really going sideways. Of course, we did start to see, the agreements being made and general negotiations going decently on Trump's end whenever it comes to obviously some of our international affairs, right? We saw obviously the stuff with the UK. We've seen some pretty decent announcements coming out about, other countries and like the deals that we're working out there. But overall, it does feel as if, things have just kind of stalled out. And the reason why I think that it's stalled out is mostly just because of the people are still just waiting. And that's what I kind of told you all a couple of weeks ago. I said, listen, like people are still waiting to see how this all plays out. What's going to happen with China? What's going to happen? Or, is the US going to go into a recession? Are we going to see quantitative easing once we finally see this 2% inflation data, which should be coming pretty soon here? What's going to happen with interest rates? We also got some news a couple of days ago revolving around this and the fact that for the first time in its history, Moody's has downgraded the credit rating of the United States from AAA to AA1. Now, the reason why this is important is because it could things could just get a little bit tighter, right? Increased borrowing costs, impacts on consumers and businesses, of course, because a lot of mortgage rates and stuff are dependent on treasury yields, loss of safe haven status, so that can start to bring a little economic uncertainty, ripple effects, and how these things can impact the rest of the market with the 10-year note reaching 4.5, right? A lot of these things. And so when you combine everything that's happening from a geopolitical perspective and a macroeconomic perspective, I think a lot of people are just kind of just like, I think this is okay, but I'm not quite sure yet. And with that amount of uncertainty revolving around, especially the US economy, it's kind of just put a freeze on the market. Now, as a result of the freeze on the market that has stemmed from this uncertainty, I believe the lizard people are playing their bullshit games again. I think we are in yet again a smaller but another HMZ or a high manipulation zone, which is of course why we have been seeing these moves. And if you don't believe me, just look at this, which was the biggest HMZ I've ever seen before. And then look at this from a more zoomed in perspective. They look almost exactly the same. So I'll kind of break down exactly what this means and stuff in a little bit here. But again, I just wanted to more dive into why I believe that this market has been has been so dang on weird recently. And of course, shout out to you, Robert. Happy to have you, Robert Sharples. But yeah, so what we can see as a result of all of this uncertainty across the market, and especially what we saw from this, I think this is a nothing burger. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's even all that shocking to anyone, but people are getting a little bit concerned by it, which is why we did see, the S&P 500, many of our other core indexes, like, iShares and stuff, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, a lot of them are down over the last, over throughout the weekend and on Friday. Again, because of this news that the U.S. is kind of losing its safe haven status and that yada, yada, yada. Now, could there be some ripples? Sure. I don't particularly think there will be. And as you can see here, despite the downgrade, Moody's shifted its outlook from negative to stable, citing the U.S. strong economy, effective monetary policy led by an independent Federal Reserve, and the dollar's global role. So they even said themselves that this isn't particularly a big deal. It's not like a catastrophe. It is just something we need to be careful about, right? And so again, although people are freaking out about this, I personally don't think it's that huge of a deal, and I don't think it's going to cause rates to go up. I don't think it's really going to impact mortgage rates, because if the U.S. economy was really struggling at the same time that we saw this downgrade, that could start to cause your rates to increase a little bit, obviously, because people, they're going to want to get paid more. That is more risky. You know what I mean? But that's not particularly what we're seeing right now. And so I don't think it's a huge deal. Listen, I'm no economist, though. This is not my strong suit. But what I do know is that usually when we see things like this that sound like this, smell like this, and look like this, they usually end up being a big old whopping nothing burger that ends up just being something we talk about in a couple months, but isn't anything that usually transpires into much, okay? So personally speaking, I'm not super concerned about this, but obviously to each their own. You got to kind of just determine if you are. I don't think I am. So therefore, I'm not really making any moves based on this. Okay. But again, it is causing the market to fall. We are seeing some of your stock market and stuff pulling back just a little bit, not terribly, but just a little bit. Especially in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big a deal. And so yeah, that's kind of where the market's going, sideways. Now, it makes a lot of sense though as to why we are seeing Bitcoin dominance rallying a little bit right now, and why we are seeing Bitcoin falling, but altcoins taking the majority of the beating. And that was cool. What was that? I didn't know you could do that. Anyway, it makes a lot of sense as to why we are seeing altcoins taking a pretty big beating over the last couple of days. It's just because S said something interesting. Hold on. S isn't an economist, and I want to know S's opinion. S, say something. Let us know how you feel. You're an economist. You're our financial advisor now. But anyway, it makes a lot of sense as to why we are seeing the altcoin market taking a beating, because what we are seeing in the crypto market is a risk-related pullback. Okay, so what I mean by that is there are different pullbacks in the world of crypto. Right, let's use this one. Some pullbacks are because, regulations. Some pullbacks are, economics based. Some pullbacks are reputation based, like FTX went down, and that's bad for the reputation of the space. Oftentimes they're liquidity based, right? Thinking M2 money supply, right? And oftentimes the pullbacks that we see that come from the economic side are more based on risk. Okay. And what I mean by that is people are worried that the economy is getting more risky, that, their money is not particularly as safe. And what this will usually do is people will just tighten up a little bit. If people get concerned that the US economy isn't stable or that the stock market might crash, what they're immediately going to do is they're going to think, okay, how do I de-risk right now? How do I put my money into the safest places? And that's naturally going to transfer into crypto as well, in which you are going to start to see the money flow from your alts over into Bitcoin. It's just natural. Now, this usually doesn't last very long. It only usually lasts as long as people are concerned about the economic side of things, which is why I don't think that we've basically, canceled, quote unquote, canceled altcoin season, because I still do think we have clearly changed the tide here for Bitcoin dominance. And now that Bitcoin dominance is broken down, I still do believe that the structure is either going to be sideways, which is a balance between Bitcoin and alts, or in general, that altcoins will outperform Bitcoin. And of course, I could be wrong. It might just take off. I just see no signs of that quite yet, so I'm not betting on that. And so overall, I don't think this is something that's going to last super long. I don't think it's going to last super long. I just do believe that we're in a phase right now where people are a little bit concerned because of what we're seeing in the economy. And so they are shifting their crypto from altcoins into Bitcoin and into stablecoins as well, which is not a surprising thing. It's not really something that would even remotely concern me at all, honestly. So yeah, so that's kind of why I think that the altcoin market is pulling back a good bit. That's why I think Bitcoin and your top cryptos are, although pulling back, not really pulling back all that much. And the reality of it is here, guys. Like, you look at Bitcoin, it's really not pulling back. You guys are just spoiled. Like, everybody's been talking in the market like, oh, we're getting a red day. It's like, okay, but look at Bitcoin. Like, it's still sideways. Look at Solana. Like, just zoom out a bit. Look at ETH. Just zoom out. That's sketchy looking, though. I ain't gonna lie. That looks a little sus, but I'll talk about that later. Look at SWI. look at XRP, look at XLM. Most of these things are still up, right? What you have to remember is that every time that we get a pump like we're seeing right now, you're going to see retracements. Uptrends don't look like this. They look like this, okay? And you're going to have these moments in which you go down, even if it means you go up and then almost all the way back down and just continue to make that higher low. You're still in an uptrend. And so what we're in right now, in my opinion, is just a pullback. And until we start to see all of these cryptos losing macro levels of support, I'm not concerned with this pullback. I don't really think it's a big deal. I don't think what we're seeing from this is a big deal. I don't really think that what we're seeing from this trend of altcoins falling is a big deal. And I especially don't think the fact that we're pulling back a little bit is a big deal. It's not really something that I would even be concerned about. Now, some people are. Some people are pretty concerned about this and they're making stupid moves, and I want that to not be you. So let me kind of go on a rant real quick. If you think that this is a big deal and you make a big move about this, I think you're going to make a big mistake. What I would tell you all right now is that considering what's happening in the market, I don't think is a big deal, and I think it's just a natural correction. The best thing to do right now is literally just not do anything or just DCA a little bit on these cryptos that are dumping. Not a lot. I definitely wouldn't be dollar cost averaging a lot into SWI right now or a lot into Solana right now because they're not really on macro support levels. Like I would want them to come back down a little bit further before I did that, but a little bit is fine. Like tiny DCAs or just nothing, because where we are right now is we are back in another HMZ, and I have some unfortunate news for you all. We're back in another high manipulation zone. Okay. It's annoying. It is what it is. What can you do? We can't stop it. But that is the case. We are in another HMZ and it's clear as day. Whenever you have a range like this with a fake out just like this is textbook HMZ. And I wish I would have recognized it a little bit earlier. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I hinted at it back here like, man, this shit kind of looks like an HMZ, but I didn't commit to saying it was one. And I kind of wish I would have, because it would have prevented anyone from losing in this. But what an HMZ is it's quite simply just a range in which you're in the crypto market, in which the lizard people are literally just playing games with you. They're going to make it move to the downside, and then people are going to, the long traders are going to get liquidated. Then they're going to go back up and then liquidate the short traders, and then go back down, liquidate them, liquidate them, liquidate them, really liquidate these ones up here. Liquidate them, right? You're just going to see liquidations over and over and over again. You're going to see fake outs, breakouts, false pumps, micro pumps, liquidity hunts, and much more. It's just going to happen over and over and over again until you break out of this range. Now, the good part about it is I do actually think that we're not going to stay in this HMZ for a ton of time. Like if you look at Bollinger Bandwidth, on the 4 hour, we are nearly fully correct. I mean, we are basically fully corrected, and we don't usually stay here very long without seeing some sort of volatility hit the market, which would imply that Bitcoin could push out of this at some point decently soon. The question is just when, and I honestly have no idea when that may happen. It's May, and we saw a pump in May, and that's weird in itself. And so trying to guess when this is going to break out either up or down is literally me just guessing, and I'm not doing you a service. The best thing that I can tell you is that we have a very clear range here. The core range is between 101 and 105.6, but there is kind of like your little external fake out range, which goes between 100.6 and 107. And until we break out of this, I really would just tell you to do this. When you're in kind of like this upper 20%, just take some profits off the table pretty consistently across anything that's up. And the second that you fall back below below this 50% threshold right here to the bottom side of this HMZ, just do a little bit of accumulating. You're not doing anything big here. You're literally just playing the range over and over and over again until it breaks. Worst case scenario is that you do some buying right here and then it drops. It is what it is. You shouldn't be doing big buys right here anyway. Best case scenario is you can time these little moves to the downside, take profits towards the upside, and just stack a little bit of extra cash while you're in this HMZ until you break out. And then obviously once you break out, you'll know what to do. You'll either take a ton of profits as we start to pump, or you'll start to get ready to DCA as we fall. That's basically what we did back here. If we zoom out a bit to the daily charts, you can see the previous HMZ that we were in. You can see we were in an HMZ from November all the way to like March, basically, at one point, and that's what we did. We played the range. And if you guys were here, you remember we did a ton of buying at the bottom side of this. We did a ton of selling at the top side of this. And you can actually see it on my Bitcoin buy-sell bubble sheet. Look at this. Ton of selling towards the top side, ton of buying towards the bottom side. This is when we recognized we were in an HMZ, so we just started accumulating the bottoms and selling the tops, right? And so what we did is that, and then as it started to break out, we did some really big purchasing on this pullback because we expected a return, and that's what happened. So that's how I'm going to play this. I'm just going to trade the range a little bit, very low leverage, nothing stupid. Don't be a moron right now. And then as this does pull back, then, if we do get a pullback out of this, I will start to stack some of those positions, use some of the profits that I've generated along taking taking profits here, reinvest back in, ride the wave back upwards. And worst case scenario, I guess, is that it just never goes back up. But I guess I'll just take that L if that is the case, because I don't really think that's what's going to happen. And yeah, so you guys know, I mean, obviously it's played out very well for us over the last couple of weeks. I've taken a ton of profit. All of these red bubbles are the times in which I was taking profit, and you can see how that's played out. I sold some here and here and here and here and here, and well, what do you know? All of those profit-taking moments that we've had has positioned us for this. Now we can accumulate the bottom of the HMZ if we keep, coming back to it. If we break to the upside, I'll keep taking profits. If we pull to the downside, I'll just start propping up some of these green bubbles and start doing some buying. We're in a great spot right now. And that's why that's why I think our community has done so well, especially over the last 5 or 6 months, because we've just traded this thing as almost as perfect as you can get, right? We've been scooping up the lows. We've been taking profits on the highs so that on times like right now, it doesn't really matter what this market does. If it goes up, we'll pop more red bubbles up. If it goes down, we'll just buy more, and we'll keep playing this range until the macro structure changes. And so congratulations, obviously, to a lot of you guys. I know many of you who were here buying with me in some of those times in February, March. Now you're taking profits. You're sitting on a nice little cash pile, and you're just ready, just kind of waiting to see what happens here. And that's what I'm doing as well. So that's kind of where the market is. And it kind of should be interesting. Now, I do want to talk about, now that you have kind of an update on what's been happening, now what I want to do is talk about what we are expecting over the rest of this week. There are a lot of important things happening this week, so I'll update you on that. And then I'll go into some individual analysis on each altcoin that we talk about pretty frequently. Now, before we do get into that, I do want to make an announcement for you all. We are now seeing CoinEx with its next campaign live. You guys know I am a partner of CoinEx. I've been working with them for a long time, and you guys seem to like them. And the link is down below if you do want to go check out this futures bootcamp. So what it says here is that this is the first ever CoinEx futures bootcamp, and it's about to launch, in which you can join them to sharpen your futures trading skills with simple tutorials and thrilling competitions and win big rewards along the way. So what this allows you to do is literally just learn how to trade futures, how to trade derivatives. And as you learn and complete different tasks and things like that, you're going to be able to earn big vouchers. I mean, you can earn up to $10,000 in cashback vouchers. And in order to participate, it's actually super easy. And there's a couple different stages to it as well. There's like stage 2, in which you can join the futures P&L trade board, for example. And the best people on the trade board are going to get a bunch of CET, which is very, very valuable, obviously. And then there's going to be a couple other stages as well. So this is going to go live. I do believe the very first day is today. Yep, May 19th. And this is going to go live for the next 10 days. So I did leave the link for you all down in the description below. It's very easy to sign up. You're just going to sign up on this page, and you'll be able to track your statistics, your rewards, your current ranking, and all that stuff, and how much money you should be able to receive, or how much CET. There's over 100,000 CET up for grabs. So feel free to go check that out. And of course, as always, thank you to CoinEx for being a great partner of the channel. Now, diving a little bit forward, what we can see, let's kind of just progress a little bit along. Now that you understand, look, we're in an HMZ. This is going to be very risky. A lot of big liquidations are going to happen. What do we expect next? Like, what do we do next? Well, obviously, as I mentioned before, the best thing to do is just trade the range. But I do believe there are certain factors that tell me that we very well might see a breakout of this thing sooner than later. Like, I don't think it's going to be like this one where we were in it for literally 3 months. I think this could go for a month, right? I think it could go for a month within reason, maybe a little bit longer, but I'm not super thinking that we're just going to be in here until August, right? No, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. One of the reasons, as I mentioned before, is what we are seeing on our Bollinger Band width, or the BBW indicator, as many of you like to call it, in which we are reset down here. And usually that means volatility will pick up, which usually does imply some sort of big move. Like the last time we saw the big move was right here, right? So I do think that we may get some sort of move here. Another thing is the fact that we do have a lot of events coming up. So for example, today, which is the 19th, we have Trump speaking with Putin. Coinbase is joining the S&P 500. Saylor's expecting to announce another big purchase. The U.S. Senate is going to vote on a stablecoin bill. CME is going to launch the XRP futures. And then Pyth is doing a huge unlock. And then later this week, Trump has dinner with 220 Trump token holders, which will bring some attention to crypto. There'll be flash manufacturing and service PMIs, which is extremely important, okay? Then on Sunday, Powell speaks. And then throughout the week, we have, of course, Trump's big and beautiful tax bill, the debt and deficit discussions, and global trade deal negotiations. So there's a bunch of things that are happening this week that could easily just spill over on either side, bullish or bearish, that I think are going to move this market around. Maybe some of them are going to be good and kind of pump us to the top of the HMZ. Some will be bad and dump us to the bottom of the HMZ. But I do think eventually we are going to break out of this bad boy, and then we'll be able to make that move. So I know it is annoying. I'm not particularly concerned that we're going to be in this forever. We're just probably going to be in it for a good little bit here. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of where we are with that. kind of factoring in our liquidations and stuff, you can see the HMZ taking its effect. You see how, like, on the one-day exchange liquidations for Bitcoin, you see how things are decently balanced. That's pretty typical for an HMZ. And the reason why this is typical is because you're going to see people on both sides getting liquidated. And so the HMZ works so well because they're going to be able to stack up these short traders and stack up these long traders. Well, I guess technically backwards, long traders and short traders, but they're going to stack up these these liquidations to the downside, stack up these liquidations to the top side, and everybody's getting hit. It's like that was not a funny example, never mind. But it's like if we see the crypto market fall to 99,000, or let's say 100,000, you're going to see $5 billion in possible liquidations. If it pumps to 108,000, you'll see nearly 4 billion, or a little bit over 4 billion in liquidations. And so this is the HMZ having its effect, right? You're just going to continuously see liquidations on both sides of the coin, which is what we have been seeing. I mean, go look at liquidation history. Like, look. I mean, everybody's getting hit. Like, nobody's really safe right now. The longs have been taking it the worst, obviously, because they're the most leveraged, but everybody's getting hit. I mean, look at that move. So this is pretty normal. This is kind of what you would expect from an HMZ. And like yesterday's move is such a good example of this. Like, look at, I don't even know what this is, bro. This shit's so ugly. So like pump, bear, like almost a bearish engulfing candle, pump, bearish engulfing candle, dump, huge candle on the 4 hour. Like, this is the sort of stuff where I just tell you guys, like, don't do anything with this. Like, don't play in it. Like, that's just stupid. Like, if you're on 100x leverage with money that you're scared to lose, you're literally playing just a stupid game of chance. And I just don't think it's the case. And I hate to be polarizing, but it is just the case because, sometimes I try to be a little neutral and not tell you guys like too much because I don't want to sway you in either direction. But the truth of the nature is if you're high leverage trading right now, you're just being kind of dumb. Unless you know what you're doing. And that's the caveat, right? If you have a proper understanding of, stop losses, that'll be applied to both sides of the range, and then catch stop loss levels, and then your net stop loss levels. If you know how to play that game in order to trade a range on high leverage, I'm not calling you dumb. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're just kind of hoping for the best, opening up 100x leverage long trades right now, just hoping it goes up, you're just being dumb. Why waste gains? Literally. Like, if you just save that money, dollar cost average on dips, and let that puppy ride when we ride, it's going to make games much easier. So don't do anything dumb right now. There's just no point. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are in the market. Bunch of nothing burgers, some pretty interesting stuff happening over the next couple of days. We're back in an HMZ, and that is kind of clearly defined by our liquidation map here. So yeah, a lot of uncertainty in the market, and the whales are going to use this to their advantage. So you're probably going to hear me scream about manipulation, lizards, liquidations, and all that stuff a lot over the next week or so while we're in this HMZ. So just kind of buckle up and get ready for me to talk your head off about why this market's rigged and why it's like impossible to win unless you know. Speaking of that, though, just a good little caveat, or not a caveat, a little transition here, a little bridge here. One thing that I will let you know is that I am going to be soon releasing the crypto playbook, which is going to be a free playbook that is going to be released to all of you. I am nearly done with it. I just have a couple more like kind of, things to add in here, but this book is literally going to tell you guys everything. Like, it's going to tell you all the crypto basics. What is crypto, coin versus token, narratives, use cases, how the cycles work, accumulations, bull markets, bear markets, how to buy crypto, beginner mistakes, crypto safety, crypto analysis. I'm going to have lessons on the RSI, the Fibonacci's, Elliott's waves, fundamental analysis. I'm going to teach you about liquidation levels and all that. And then in addition to that, there's additional education, which I'm going to talk all about market manipulation. This is all going to be free. Like, every single thing on this bad boy is going to be free. I'm just giving it to you. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to teach you how crypto works for free. And then when the time comes that you're ready to really start investing, then I'll be able to help you out in places like the school and stuff. So I feel like it's a fair trade-off. Learn everything there is to know about crypto for free. Once you're ready to start using it to actually build a strategy, come to me. I'll help you do it. Okay. That's just from a transparency perspective. I don't like being weird and fugazi and shit. Like, you can just know what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's coming out soon. Give me a couple days. And yeah, I'm really excited about this market manipulation one. I think especially while we're in an HMZ, this is going to be super valuable. That's going to be super valuable for you. So I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff here. Yeah, so hopefully that's beneficial. Stein R said that's Chat GPT if I see one. We'll see if Chat GPT knows what lizard people are. Yeah, so anyway, what should we move on to? Okay, let's do this. I'm going to let you guys have a few minutes, ask some questions in the chat. I'm going to answer your questions for the next 5 minutes. Then I'm going to do individual analysis, just some technical analysis on all of these cryptos. And then yeah, then we'll go from there. I have to finish doing a couple things. So I'm not going to be on here super long today, probably another 20, 30 minutes. So ask some questions in the chat. Then we'll do some analysis on all these individual cryptos. And then, yeah, I think we'll go from there. I'm tempted to close my longs I've had open for like a week, though they're under 10x leverage, so I don't know. I mean, I think if you have a decent stop loss set, it's not super important to close them. But if you're having that feeling, you obviously have a decent sized position open, so I'd probably just be careful. But the question you need to ask yourself is that if we pump out of this HMZ, will you be pissed off? Like, that's the biggest question. If the answer is yes, maybe reconsider closing them and just put trailing stop losses on. But if the answer is no, it's like, yeah, just close them. I learned so much from the last one, do absolutely nothing. Absolutely, you get it. That's why you the GOAT, man. Shout out to you. Oh, what's up, Dom? Shout out to you, homie. I didn't see you there. My bad. What do you think of TARS AI? It's a good long-term investment. I literally have a video about TARS AI coming out in like 7 hours. That's so funny that you asked me that. Stay tuned. I really like Sweet. I'm going to talk a little bit about Sweet, I guess, when I do the technical analysis section. Triple top at 109 is the bear scenario. Yeah, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be great. Yeah, I would agree. What are your targets for XRP? Well, it really just depends on if it's capable of getting back at this breakout. I don't like the fact that XRP just gave us a fake out. That's like obviously not a great thing to happen, but it has weakened up this resistance. So my general belief is that if XRP is capable of breaking through this descending channel and giving us a really strong run, I think $5.33 on like a conservative short-term price estimate is a good one, but obviously a lot of things will have to happen in the market to get there. Like that's not going to be easy. I'm not one of those guys who's going to tell you XRP is going to $1 million. Like, no, I'm going to give you realistic price targets. And my first short-term price target is still over 130% away. So if you think that's too low, well, you're being a little too greedy, champ. Not you, Ethan, obviously, just talking to the person who was about to say something crazy. Wait, scroll up. I had a question about XRP. Hold on. Mental extraction. What's up, Bob? XRP is sitting on top of the golden zone and utilizing its own support, giving uncertainty in the market and speculation behind Ripple. Is it good DCA time to hold? Yes. Yeah, I think so. Great question, Mental. Very good question, actually. Very good. Hell of a question. Good job. One of the best questions I'd see. Tyler, did you put some attention to the beginner's portfolio regarding the dips buys? Some coins have had amazing pullbacks of like 9%. No, I haven't updated the beginner portfolio recently, just simply because again, this is not a good time for beginners to do a lot in. So I act like a beginner when I have that portfolio, so I barely touch it right now. The best thing to do is just barely make any moves during a market like this. Slow, consistent stuff. But I do have an update coming out for it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Let me scroll up here. Can you do TA on Sweet? Yep, I will. Yep, I'll do Cardano as well. What HMZ range will it be this time? Right now, I'm currently looking at just the range itself, which gives me core range between 101.4 and 105.6. Fake out range between 100.6 and 107. Do you think Bitcoin goes to 97 or 107 first? I don't know. I mean, I can guess and say 107, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Because 107's within the HMZ, 97's outside of it. So yeah, but I mean, that's purely, I mean, that's a coin flip. I really have no idea, to be honest with you. Sorry. XEN, Robert Sharple, shout out to you, homie. Happy to have you again, by the way. Tyler feeding the hood as usual with the guide. I'm trying, man, and I'm really excited about it, honestly. Like, I'm gonna try to build this thing up over the next couple like years. It's basically gonna be, you know how I've released like beginner's guide, beyond the basics guide, technical analysis guide, red market guide, basically all those guides I've given you guys, I just want to put in one place. So anytime anything happens in the market that you need to be like, what's this called, or what sort of phase in the market are we in, anything educational, you can just go there and learn. Like, you can just go open it and go look yourself, right? You can just go look yourself. So I want this to be literally like a playbook you can refer to every day if you need it to go find out what's happening in the market. Like, hey, we're in an HMZ. What's an HMZ? Go to market manipulation, find the section on HMZ. Like, that's my goal. Again, because it's going to help you guys. It'll help me have an additional educational material to refer to when I'm teaching. But then lastly, again, for those of you who learn a ton and are really ready to like go head first into this crypto market and build a strategy that works, then you can come to the school and I'll teach you how to build a strategy based on the things you learn here. So I feel like it's a fair trade-off. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I finally load up 35K tie. Nice. Shout out to you. Good job. Last time you said render was a good buy opportunity. I didn't have funds in. Do you still think it's a good entry? I'll take it out. What do you think about Solaire? I don't really know a ton about it. Shout out to you, Mexo, though. or Maxile. Maxil or Maxile? I'm trying to think. DaCosta. I'm going to Maxil, but I'm not sure. We're still at a point where Bitcoin dominance is crucial. It went back to 64% dominance, practically erased all gains. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is important. We'll look at Bitcoin dominance a little bit here, but yeah, it got smoked. It got smoked. But it's still retracing, which again, I'll go over in a little bit here. A couple more questions, and then we're gonna jump in on. We're gonna jump back in. Swayed on Silence is 98. Love it. Mental Extraction. Shout out to you, homie. Okay. I know you think about doing TA on AI16's Tyler Wolf Spooky. Fuck off. What are your thoughts about Fartcoin? I hate Fartcoin, but my community makes a shit ton of money off of it, so I can't hate it too much. Do you think ETH can go to 2150? Where's that at? Yeah, I think it can go to 2150. Not saying I think it will, but I think it definitely can. Okay. Sorry, I don't know. Someone was calling me, but it went away. I thought we were closely watching global M2, and the next leg up should be soon with pump in May, June. Who knows what it does? I'm currently almost break even with my portfolio. I'm in a good spot. You're in a great spot, man. You're in a great spot. The market's not in an amazing spot, and you're in a good spot, so that's a good thing. All righty, a couple more questions. What do you think about BitTorrent? I don't know much about it. Trust me, I'll start doing my individual analysis again pretty soon. I've just been really busy, guys. My bad. If you have a small portfolio, how much percent do you take off and reinvest again? I mean, with a small one, 5K, and split in some alts. Well, it just depends on the certain crypto. So I don't look at the whole crypto oftentimes, or the whole portfolio. I'll usually just look at each crypto. If I am looking at the total portfolio, I'm not looking at total portfolio size. More often, I'm looking at the total amount that I'm up. But if I have a $5,000 portfolio and say I'm up 10%, so I'm up $500, my portfolio size is $5,500. What I might do is take like $150 of profit, and then if the market does fall, I might reinvest like 50 of it, right? But I'll of course have some like more in-depth explanations and tutorials on taking profit pretty soon here. Train a custom GPT on the document and pop it up on your website. That would be sweet. Yeah, we can definitely do stuff like that. I have the website coming along as well, so stay tuned for that. I have a lot building. Right now. What's up, DW? Shout out to you, homie. What's up? It's my boy, Fishy Boy. All right, anyway. All right, let's kind of jump into some individual analysis where we have 34 minutes. I'm going to knock this out for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to have one more Q&A section at the end of this bad boy, and then we're going to go from there. Guys, I will tell you, I don't think it's a good idea to do any leverage trading, like high leverage trading right now. We will get back to that point eventually. If you do want to do some leverage trading, you can get a 10% bonus on all first-time deposits over on BTCC. That's literally up to $10,000 per user. And if you trade crypto, you should know how good that is. So feel free to check it out down below. But again, don't high leverage trade right now. And if you're new, ignore what I just said. Do not go sign up for this. Like if you're new to crypto, leave this shit alone. Okay. Anyway. All right, let's get into it. So anyway, okay. Here we go. So let's see what's going on here. So we went over Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in an HMZ. What I am going to tell you all for the most part is that while we are in a micro phase of Bitcoin dominance retracing, which means that right now we pulled down, but Bitcoin dominance is retracing upwards, running up towards the golden zone. We are still in now another little Bitcoin season. Okay, this is a micro Bitcoin season. I believe in general, we are now in some sort of altcoin season because I think we are now going to see altcoins start performing better, right? Not like a 2021 altcoin season. Don't misconstrue my words. I'm just saying in general, I think we're in some sort of altcoin period. Maybe that's the better word. I do think we're in like a micro Bitcoin phase, micro Bitcoin season, whatever you want to call it, in which Bitcoin is in control of the market while Bitcoin dominance is retracing. Okay. And with that in mind, everything that I tell you about alts will most likely revolve around this HMZ to some degree. Almost everything I say will have some sort of, we need to wait to break out the HMZ before I do anything. Okay. So I'm just kind of warning you now. Okay. Okay. And I'm sorry, but if you go crazy with the spam, you're going to just get muted. Okay, so let's kind of jump into ETH. So when I look at ETH, I don't love ETH. I don't love what I'm seeing from ETH. I'm going to be super honest here. And the reason that I say that is because ETH made a hell of a move up to this Fibonacci extension level. I mean, look at the beauty of this move, guys. It's actually impressive. It's actually impressive. I will give it to ETH. So what you can see is that ETH made this move, right? Swing low to swing high and then broke out, right? Well, if you draw on your Fibonacci's and you actually see what happened here, it's beautiful, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, we came up, consolidated at golden zone, broke it, cleared the 1 level, cleared the 1.272 level, kissed the 1.618 Fibonacci extension zone, which was our take profit level. So it just smashed up to our take profit level. And now what is it doing? It's coming back down and back testing the 1.272 Fib level. So it's trying to take this previous point of resistance and flip it into support. That in itself is good. What I don't like is the fact that there is quite obviously a head and shoulders right there. Like very, very clearly. And what it looks like to me is that ETH just broke below it and is back testing it. And so ETH is right now at risk of pulling back to like 2100. So I am being very cautious of ETH. I'm not really buying any right now. I don't see a point in it. But if ETH does come back to say 2100 to 1924, maybe I'll accumulate a little bit somewhere in this level. But for ETH, it was a hell of a move. But I did take a good bit of profits off the table, which is why you see that big red bubble. That means I sold. I sold a good bit right there. Okay. Solana. Solana's in a similar position, just a little bit of a different position because Solana's just kind of slow burning right now. But if we actually do look at the micro move that it made, it is very similar in the sense that Solana had this move. Look what happened. Solana came back up, ran, cleared the one level, pushed above it, came all the way up towards that 1.618, but fell short of it and is now trying to build support. I don't love what Solana's doing right now. I don't hate what Solana's doing right now. It's just not a good time to do either thing to me. I don't think right now is the best time to take profits on Solana because there's not really a ton of liquidity right now. There may be some more liquidity in between like 150 and 145, but it's just not there quite yet, which does make sense because again, Bitcoin is currently sat in the top side of the HMZ, not the bottom side. So if Bitcoin pulls back, I think Solana would pull back a little bit more and then start interacting with a better support level, which is when I would be more open to do a little bit of dollar cost averaging. So not really doing anything with Solana right now. I just don't think it's a great time to do either thing, to be honest. And the same goes for SWI. What we can see is that SWI has now officially created an ascending channel. I don't like that, if I'm going to be super honest with you. SWI's price ran into the golden zone, okay? Ran into the golden zone and ran into resistance very fast. As a result, we started selling some SWI. And you can see that here. Red bubble, red bubble, red bubble. These are sales. And what you can see now is that all of the sales that we did were now higher than we are right now, which is cool, right? The fact that we were able to sell a good bit of SWI at the top here. But I don't like the fact that SWI is still sitting within this golden zone of resistance and it's now created some sort of like ascending level of like an ascending channel. Generally speaking, these will break downwards. And I'm not saying it's going to, I'm just saying SWI is at risk of a pullback right now. And that pullback could take it all the way back down to $2.84. And you might not like to hear that, but I don't make the rules here, okay? There could be a 20 to 25% pullback for SWI. So while it's sitting below the 4.18 level, this golden zone, I'm just being extremely cautious. I'm not doing anything. If anything, if it pumps back up towards 417, I'll probably take profits again. I'm just not doing anything right now because this is just extremely risky. This is just like an extremely risky moment for SWI, and I don't really particularly want to deal with it. Looking at XRP, XRP is in a similar spot. I don't love the fact that XRP just faked us out. That's super ugly. Like, it's just annoying because now what we have to do is we have to shift the channel and it just makes it harder to break out from now. But what you can see here is that XRP was in a bit of a descending structure and now it's expanded the descending structure because it had a fake out. And what that means is that XRP is now just sitting at the top side of a descending channel. And that's risky, guys. At any given point, XRP might just come back down towards like the middle of this channel. I guess in worst case scenario, it could come back down to the bottom side of this channel, although I don't particularly see this happening. It is a risk. And so for me with XRP, it's like, okay, well now I need to see XRP break out of this thing and hold support and come back up and Bob T, breakout back test, yada, yada. So for XRP, I'm just kind of in a spot where it's like, nah, I'm good. You know, like I don't really want a dollar cost average at the top side of a descending structure because we might just break down. But also I don't really want to take a ton of profits right here because I did sell a lot right here, which is why you see the red circle. So for me, I'm just like, I'll just kind of not do anything right now. And I'm sure you kind of seeing the picture being painted with ETH, SOL, SWI, and XRP. I'm not doing much. And the reason I'm not doing much is because the market is setting up the HMZ. The fact that I looked at this HMB and said, probably a good time to not really do anything. And then when you do your individual analysis of each crypto, you also get told the same picture. It's called confluence. And that just simply means you're right. Don't do anything, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing, which is nothing. Okay. ADA is in a similar position. I don't love the fact that I'm seeing this from ADA right now. This like weird little thing that's happening. Like this, you see how there's like multiple layers of ascension here. I don't like that. Like that's just weird. I'm just not a fan of it. And then like ADA's just not doing a good job at all right now of like maintaining resistance points. Do you see how like we had this resistance level and this resistance level and it like just didn't hold support on either one of them? That's just not fun. Like I don't like that. So for ADA, I'm just ignoring it. I'll let it play out. The macro picture is decently clear in my opinion, and that is that if we go out to the daily, you know, ADA's just trying to find its grounding. It's slowly kind of just we're still in like an accumulation phase, I think, for ADA. So for ADA, I'm like not going all in because you never know. ADA literally could at some point fall to 33 cents, like back to this key level support. So for ADA, I'm just letting this play out. I'm not getting too crazy. I'm just going to kind of let the ball roll here, and then I'll make my move off of that. ADA is like the ugliest chart that I see in the top 20 right now, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't even hate ADA. Like, I'm not really on the whole ADA hate train. It's just not a good looking chart. Like, this is a disgusting structure. H bar looks pretty juicy to me. I actually do like what I'm seeing from H bar. And the reason that I say that is because it gave us a breakout, right? It gave us a breakout. It's struggling a little bit during this breakout, but the structure has clearly changed. We were in a macro downtrend. It's broken out of it. It's trying to build a higher low, somewhere above it, 12.1 cents. And I think it has a hell of a chance of maintaining. And I actually think H bar is going to try to make a run. I think H bar is going to try to run at any given point to like 28 cents. It's probably going to take a while because the market's not in a position to do that. And it does also have kind of this ugly little ascending structure, this right here. It does have this as well, and that is probably going to end up breaking down at some point. But I think even if H-bar does continue down and go sideways, at some point, I think it's going to try to run, make that push back up towards 25, 28 cents. So H-bar actually looks pretty good to me. I wouldn't be buying it right now because of this, but I would buy it if it gives me a gnarly crash or dip at some point. Okay. ICP... It's my opinion remains the same. I think ICP has not shown me enough signs of life to get excited about it, but it is in the golden zone. It's holding the golden zone well. At any given point, it might break out the golden zone, especially if we have a triple-headed inverse head and shoulders being formed right here. So I'm not against buying some ICP. I'm just not very excited about what it's been doing over the last couple months. Okay. Now, can it run back up to like $10? Yeah, it definitely can. Which is why I'm not selling mine, but I'm not doing like any huge purchases or anything. I'm good on that. SHIB. I don't like the fact that SHIB is disrespecting the previous point of resistance. So it obviously had this inverse head and shoulders. It broke above it, and now it's failing to maintain that breakout. That's never really a good sign. It means that this inverse head and shoulders is weakening. And generally speaking, when you have a weakening breakout structure, it just means that there's not a lot of bullish momentum for it. So I would be willing to do some small DCAs on SHIB, but I wouldn't be doing anything big. And the same goes for Pepe. Like, Pepe's clearly in a better spot, but Pepe's still just struggling still, right? So for me, like, if we kind of just look at where Pepe is, it is now at the golden zone. So for me, it's like, okay, well, it obviously broke up. It did good. It had this breakup structure. Some people would even call this a cup and handle pattern. But now it's at the golden zone. So with Pepe, I'm like, all right, let this bad boy kind of play out a little bit. It is showing a loss of strength as it is hitting this macro resistance point. See him, it might pull back a bit. It might come back and retest. But once it can officially break this key level of resistance right around 0.13643, then I think maybe Pepe tries to give us a run back up to like 33 or maybe run up to like 24. So there could be some pretty good gainers. I know I grouped Pepe in with SHIB, but that was because I forgot it made this move. I would actually say Pepe's in clearly a much better spot than SHIB is. And I think if it does give you a pullback, maybe a little DCA action here is not a bad idea. Because a run back up to like 23 makes a lot of sense to me. 23 in me, for sure. Okay. I know someone asked about Render. No, I don't think Render's in a great spot right now. It's in an okay spot. Like, this is an okay DCA opportunity moment, but it's not in a great one. And that's simply just because it's in the gray zone. So the gray zone is the 50% to the 25% threshold. This is like an okay time to be dollar cost averaging in. It's not a great time, which is in the green box down here. This is a great time. This is an okay time. So for Render, it's like, yeah, if you want to do a little DCA, if you're still below, if you're still negative, yeah, a little DCA here is fine. But I wouldn't be doing gigantic ones, quite simply just because we're not in the green zone. We did some big buying on Render back here. Now we'll just kind of let this puppy ride. And it is actually up from that purchase we did. I know I bought it on that recovery pullback, so it's up about 25% from that last purchase, which is pretty cool. Happy to see Render giving us some little gainers there, but it's a tiny part of my portfolio, so I don't really care too much. Caspa, my opinion kind of remains the same on Caspa. What I need to see is it maintain within this red box. So I'll update you guys soon on Caspa. I need to see if it can stay on this red box or not, because I'm scared that it's going to flip this previous point of support into resistance and get rejected. So I need to see if it can maintain in this red box or not. I'll update you guys soon on this. I have a video. On Tars AI coming out tonight, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that one. Talked about Sol. Looking at Litecoin. Again, Litecoin's another one of those ones, like, it's all right. I don't love the fact that it's in an ascending channel, but this ascending channel is so big that I don't think it needs to break to the downside of it. So, but Litecoin is at this 50% threshold. So it's like not a great time to be buying, not a terrible time to be buying. Just in the middle. It's like if you want to buy it and if you're negative, do a little accumulation. I'm personally not. I don't really have any Litecoin in my portfolio anymore. So, yeah, but I mean, it's not in a terrible spot. I wouldn't lie to you guys and say that. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, those are the main ones that we go over. Curious to see what BNB is doing. BNB also has a really ugly chart. I don't particularly love this little thing it's doing here. Yeah, I mean, it's just not a great time because it's like clearly at the top side of whatever this little structure is. Like it's at the 50% threshold or higher. So for BNB, I definitely would either be taking profits or just not doing anything. I wouldn't be buying. I think it's probably more likely that BNB tries to pull back to like, $500, 50, 550, 580, somewhere a little bit. Like I'm not super pumped about BNB because there's a huge level of resistance up here and it's struggling to break it. I need to see us like get above this. Like it needs to get above this and stay above this before I would get super excited because right now it's just a risk. But I think you can kind of see like my general thought here is like most cryptos are not in a great place to be doing any buying. They're not in the worst place ever. They're just not in a great place. So I just wouldn't be for the most part, which makes a ton of sense because we've been taking so much profit. Like you have to think about it also as my opinion will be biased because I was buying on these lows. So when I look at these prices right now, they're just high. They're high and they're risky because they might crash. So to me, it's like, no, it's not a worthy time to be putting money back in quite yet. Unless it's like an individual crypto like a TARS AI, which I did dollar cost average into this morning. And that's kind of my general thesis with the market. It's just like, we're kind of in this weird little spot, but I feel fine. We took a good bit of profit, so we have the cash available right now. I just want to kind of see the market play out a little bit more, and I want to see what happens with this HMZ for the most part. Okay. One that I forgot to go over was Ondo. I think Ondo's still in a decent spot. I don't obviously think it's in the best spot ever. I think it's in an okay spot. Ondo clearly put in the move up, came back down, is trying to build support off the golden zone. I do still think that Ondo's going to push towards $5 one day. I think that's very possible, and especially if it's capable of breaking above this golden zone, which is still way above us between 130 and 170. I think that's going to be its ticket up to $3 and its ticket up to 457. So personally, I do think Ondo's one of the very few that is still a decent time to accumulate on right now. I just wouldn't be doing a lot of buying because look at what's happening here. You're clearly putting in like this ascending structure. And remember, ascending structures have a tendency to break down. Like they just have a very strong tendency to break down, which would imply that Ondo might come back to like 83 cents or maybe even as low as 69 cents. So I wouldn't be doing any gigantic purchasing right here. We did some decent buying back at the beginning of April on it. So I'll just kind of let that puppy play and then we'll go from there afterwards. Okay. Whoo-wee. Okay. Whew. Geez, that I just feel like I wanted to smash through those TAs. And so I think we got the majority of the important ones, the ones that we talk about here a lot. So what we're going to do now in the last 10 minutes of the stream before we do go ahead and wrap it up is I am going to take some questions from you guys. So leave some questions in the chat. Happy to answer some questions. We're not going to do any more technical analysis for the day, but I am going to answer some questions for you here. Yeah, one thing that I will say while you guys are asking questions is, again, I know I've talked about it a lot, but I do really think that a lot of you guys should check out the school, okay? In the school, it's where you can find everything that I'm doing, which I know you find valuable. Like I told them that I DCA'd a little bit of TARS AI earlier this morning, and I gave my reasons as to why. I warned everybody about what we're seeing right now. I tell them when I'm buying, I tell them when I'm selling. And in addition to that, not only can you see what I'm doing, you can see what other creators are doing as well. Connor, Aaron, there's coaches in there who've been trading for 7 to 10 years every single day. That's giving their input and value of exactly what they're seeing in the market. And in addition to that, we also have a pro trade team who post their trades every day, who also let us know what they're doing. So you literally can get access to people who have made 6-7 figures in the world of crypto and see exactly what they're doing right now. And you can kind of see it playing out. Like look at the community gains. This is just today, percentages. I'm a proof guy. I don't want to tell you, I want you to see it. And what you can see is that even on days like today, even while we've been in the HMZ, this community is making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's ridiculous. And I've never seen anything like it. Matter of fact, if we actually go to the announcements, a couple of days ago, I announced our year-to-date performance right now, total return for scalp signals is 98%. Swing signals, 32%. Win rate for scalp is 70%. Win rate for swing is 51%, meaning that there's a positive win rate and good risk management because the total R is higher than the win rate comparison. It's ridiculous. And this is just scratching the surface of what we're doing. And so if you really want to see what pros are doing in this space, and if you want to start learning directly from people who do this all the time and get research and analysis, head to the link down below. Go check out the school. It's available for you there. Okay. But yeah, so let's answer some questions. Okay. Alrighty. Tyler's the GOAT. Much appreciated, champ. I close those positions before you lose more. It just depends on what you think. What about APT Tyler? I bought some good amount. I think APT is pretty solid, but I don't know. Like, I'm not super involved in the fundamental side of it, so I couldn't give you like a fundamental opinion. I got you, HA, always. Joshua, how much XRP do you hold? I'm not going to tell you that. After all that TA def subscribing, well, I hope you liked it. I appreciate that. When will we see major gains in 25 or 26? No one knows, champ. That's the fun part about it. What do you think about Cardano as a project? I think Cardano as a project is just okay. Like, I think it's just average. I think when I think average, I think Cardano. And I feel like that's fair. It's just average all the way around. Their marketing sucks, though. When is the best time to sell Solixy after the TG? What is the strategy for selling? I'm going to do this. I'll talk about that a little bit sooner once we get there. Tyler, you're the GOAT. Thanks for the info and everything. I will always try to give you guys as much as I humanly can. Right? Like, as I will give you guys as much value as I believe to be fair. Right? And so as long as I'm not taking value from the community members or anything, I will give you as much as humanly possible. That's my prerogative. Should we be selling our alts if we are 10% or less in profit? Sell a little bit. You can sell 10% to 10%, sell 1%. Take 1% of your profit out. Why not? I just don't know where or why I was told about it. That's my goal, is to be able to subscribe. Not in the position yet, but soon I'll be a part of the cool kids. Accenti, turn up then. Let's go. You got this. Would you still think that AI and AI memes are the play this cycle? I know each cycle has its own clear winner regarding a sector, but I'm curious of your thoughts. No, not AI memes. Like, not that whole AI meme space, but yeah, I think AI is going to be a bona fide portion of crypto in general going forward. I think Aave is great. I've never really seen a problem with Aave. Aave is just inconsistent. That's why it's annoying. What do you think I should do with Sui now? Because I'm 10% down and there's strong signals that it might fall hard. Get ready to buy more. Hey, yes, Tyler, have you had a look at Game on Virtuals? No, I haven't. Tell me more. Most potential this cycle? The ones that are going to get the most ETF involvement. Bitcoin, XRP, etc. What influencers do you watch and or respect the opinion of? Connor Kenny for altcoin, kind of more macro sentiment and his polarizing opinions. My financial friend for Bitcoin and ETF based. Anything that I need to know about what's happening, Bitcoin, ETFs, Trump, boom, my financial friend. Altcoin specifically, House of Crypto is a good one, but I think No BS Crypto probably has some of the best content on YouTube, revolving just altcoins and like charts and stuff like that. I met Kieran for the first time a couple of weeks ago, actually, in Dubai. I'm gonna probably link up with him pretty soon here. He's a fantastic channel. I definitely look up to his channel a lot. So No BS Crypto is a good one. I'll say those. Those are the big ones. Nobody really gave exact entries to trade based off of. Yeah, I mean that's a fair a fair criticism. I don't know who it was, obviously, but what I will say is we clearly do here. We clearly do here, and the proof is in the pudding. Down late. What's up? It's all good. Ain't no problem. Crazy predictions. You're one of the only influencers and YouTubers that doesn't give crazy predictions on real predictions. I will actually give you my actual thoughts. And I know that's like a stupid thing to flex, but most don't. And I've met many creators. I mean, I don't really ever talk about it, but we have one of the biggest influencer management companies in all of crypto. So I've met hundreds of them. And I'm telling you, they don't, many, like 90% don't actually tell you how they feel. My people do. My friends do. The guys I'm close to because I align with them. But so many of them just don't say how they actually feel. I'll dead ass be like, I don't know. And I hope you guys find that valuable. I don't want it to be made out that I'm this super saiyan crypto investor or trader who knows everything. No, I will tell you if I think I know what's going to happen. I'll tell you what I'm doing to prepare for what's going to happen. And if I don't know, I will actually just be like, I don't know. And if you kind of look at that like, well, you're dumb, I don't want to listen to you. It's like, well, you clicked on my video. So you're clearly looking for opinions. It looks like you're just as dumb as I am. So, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of my thought process. Anyway, enough of that. I got into crypto back in October and have an average return of 20% with all my trades just from watching you and Connor. Big thanks. We love to see it. Man just listed my exact watch list. How many should I sell if I'm bullish on something? Like 50% of the profit or something? Thank you. It just depends, but I will have, on that playbook, I am going to have a little bit of information about taking profits if you're a DCAer, so stay tuned. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a playbook that's coming over the next, hopefully this week, which I am going to basically just give you guys as much free information about how to do this crypto thing as humanly possible. But do remember, I saved the strategy building things for the school members. And we actually have a 30-day product coming very soon, which will allow you to go from this playbook to build your own strategy and learn, like, from scratch to fully executed data track strategy in 30 days. 10 minutes a day, 30 days. If you give me a month, I'll give you a new life. That's going to be the pitch. That's coming soon as well, so stay tuned. I have a lot of stuff coming, so keep watching. Turn on notifications and like and subscribe and all that corny shit. Okay, how many exits do you think can be made this cycle? A couple, not many, but a couple. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I introduce you to the realest man in crypto. This guy tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. No hype, just real talk. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate that, champ. I definitely do have my moments. Like, obviously, I will clickbait you a little bit, but it's not even that I'm going to clickbait you. It's that I'm going to just be a little dramatic because sometimes I need you to watch it. So, like, last night I made a video. I was like, crypto holders, this is a trap. Be careful. I know that seems clickbaity, but it is. So it's like, I might put the loud title sometimes and scream the words at you, but the truth of the nature is I'll only do that if I mean it. I feel like the problem some people have is that it'll be like a nothing burger, like a piece of big news that's not important. They're like, huge news just released. It's like, dude, it's not fucking huge. No one cares. Whereas if I think something big is happening, I will scream and get dramatic. But I'll tell you how I feel. So I appreciate that, of course. Ever looked at Monero? Not really. I know you've been doing spots for a long term, but how's your... Oh, sports for a long... I thought it was spot trading for a long time, but how's your back holding up? I'm not sure how long you sit on the chair, but my lower back hurts like mad. What do you do about this? My girl said yoga stuff. Yep. I do a little bit of stretching before I kickbox. That helps a bit. My back doesn't really have problems because this chair is good, but also I make it a very clear point to not sit here all day. So like I'll sit here for a couple hours at a time, then I'll get up, go walk my dog, go lay in the hammock, throw the ball, do things like that. I do not sit here all day. It's like not good for you. But I have had many injuries. I had obviously a full shoulder reconstruction. From fighting. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a professional MMA fighter back in my day. So I have a bunch of injuries, so I feel you. What's your opinion about CoinEx in general and its bots? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, CoinEx is very good. I'm a bit worried about paying tax on my crypto gains from the UK. Do you just calculate and pay out the end of tax at the year? Yeah, you just need to get a good crypto tax account. I work at the bank like, oh, fuck, yeah, that sucks. And do gym next to it for years, but man, my back hurts like crazy. What you might want to consider doing is ask your manager if they're cool with you bringing your own chair and get a much better one that's much more better at having a back support. Like that's something that I would do, and that's what I did. With I guess my own office. Tyler the champ, when do you think it's safe to leave the market before the bear market starts? 3 months, 5 months? I'm never leaving the market completely, but now is the time to be taking profits. Like now is the time to start exiting. Not fully, but just slowly. Bro, I'm quick to hit someone with a I don't know for anything. That's what you should do. Just say, I don't know if you don't know. And if someone judges you, be like, motherfucker, you asked me, you don't know either. Like, that's my thing. It's like, you asked me in my opinion. I said, I don't know. Then you called me a dumbass. It's like, bro, you also don't know. Maybe we work together to go solve this problem. You know what I mean? So start telling people I don't know. It'll make your life. Tell people I don't know and tell people I don't want to. It literally will change your life. Someone's like, hey, Tyler, do you want to do this? I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I don't really want to. And now you don't have to go your whole entire day dreading that thing you don't want to do, you know? And people respect you because they know you're not bullshitting them. Transparency is more important than upholding someone's ego. Trust me. Anyway. Yes, I do think it's worth buying Bitcoin at any price if you're willing to hold it for the long term. What could be the closest planned event that could bring in high volatility to the market? Trade announcements with China. Canando hit 20 USD. No time soon. I don't talk about Solana anymore because I've just kind of run my course with it a little bit, you know? I bought Solana, a ton of it, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, sold a lot of it at $250. I'm just kind of letting it reset a bit, you know what I mean? I don't marry these things. I was a Solana guy for a very long time. I love Solana still, but I'm not going to talk about it a ton if I don't think that's where all the opportunity is, you know? When did you stop MMA? I had my last fight last September. I am done after that. I might do it one more because I'm a moron. But yeah, I'm done for the most part. When do you think alt season will start? I think we're in an altcoin period in general right now, but altcoin season is like almost impossible to tell. Macroeconomic factors have to align, and they're just not right now. Do you honestly not think the terrified? I'm not terrified. I don't know if that's what you mean. What's your thoughts on Mind of Pepe? I haven't thought about it in a while. What do you think of ICP? I talked about it a couple minutes ago. What was your MMA record? I went 7-0 as an amateur, and then I went 1-0 as a pro, and then I had like 20 fights as a kickboxer, from smokers to amateur to professional. My total record there was 23 wins and 1 loss. Do you not think tariffs and trade deal have already been priced in? I believe they might be. Quite bullish, personally. Oh, yeah, they might be. They might be. But you never know. Like, anything crazy might happen. Do you trade Forex? No, I haven't. Thoughts on Tars AI? I have a video coming out in about 7 hours. I think you fought my training partner. He's a kickboxer called Ben Bluin. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah. I fought Ben like 7 months ago. What the fuck? Who are you? Did you find me through that, or did you find me on YouTube? Hold on. Everyone pause. This is fun. Watch. This is fun. You should do BC, you should do MMA or kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or something. It'll change your life. Trust. Yo, that's wild. That's so wild. Hold on. Let me let this out. No, I'm joking. I just searched you out my G. Oh, bruh. I was about to say, yo, there's no way that you just so happen to be Ben's training partner. Yeah, that would have been so wild. Sorry, this must have been what you looked up. I was about to say what? Because this was my last fight in September. And that's Ben. That's the guy that I fought. So I was about to say, that's interesting. Good times. Painful times, but good times. All right. Bro really got me. That shit was mad unnecessary. Do you know the Oasis Network? Connor's talked to me about it before. I thought it sounded pretty interesting. Rate the bag. Ondo, Sweetnear, AIOZ, Tarski. I give it a 7 out of 10. Not enough stable stuff in there. You gotta put that extra J at the end, bro. Jiu-jitsu, I'm mid at jiu-jitsu. I'm stupidly good at not getting taken down and getting back up, or I was at least. I was not very good at the jiu-jitsu thing. I could jump a ghillie from hell, though. I find myself in a tough situation. I bought before Trump inauguration, so my portfolio has never even halved. Has near enough halved. Have made some better buys, which earn a small amount of profit. Thoughts? Keep stacking it. Just give it time. The best thing to do here is don't particularly worry about taking profit. I would say just let that bag start stacking over time. It might be a while, but in enough time, it'll be good. Bro got a fire fit on. Where's the watch? I know. I literally didn't. I turned on the stream. Was like, damn, I didn't put on a watch. Because I like wearing my watches. But preach. Oh, what's up, Hack? I didn't even realize the name. What's up, Hack? Shout out to you. Fight on Misfits. Nah, man, I'm done. They'd have to pay me a lot. I fought at 55, 155. What's up? All right. Good to see you. How high do you think Bitcoin will go in the next 2 months? I have no clue, champ. That fight was at 165 because my opponent backed out the day before, and Ben took that fight like 24 hours in advance. So shout out to him. Shogun, I don't particularly care about them. I'm just so far removed from meme coins right now because it's just so not the time for meme coins. You know what I mean? I just started jiu-jitsu a month ago. Not done any martial arts since I did boxing 12 to 14, 13. Now, shout out to you, dude. Oh, you're going to love it. Are you loving it? I know it's the first couple months is rough, but if you stick to it, you're just going to fall in love. Scheduled for a week. Profit taking for pre-sales when TGE. I usually try to get my initial investment out as soon as humanly possible. And if that means literally just selling everything at the moment that it launches, it's fine with me. That's my goal usually. Shout out to you, Gergen. Rate cut in June? Not sure. Ask S. He's an economist. I didn't know you were pro. Shout out to you. Makes me like you even more now. I appreciate it. I went pro. Had a little fun. The injuries stack up, though. 4 knee surgeries, a shoulder reconstruction, 2 torn ankles, 4 or 5 concussions. You kind of just get sick of being hurt, you know? Yeah, Nogi's so much more fun. I don't know, bro. Like, he's kind of just not fun. People just grab my collar. Man, fuck off, dude. Just drop one on them. Anyway. Okay, guys, look, I hate to jump off. I do have to go here, though. I do need to go run and get some stuff done. Let me kind of run you through some of the shilling that I need to do real quick. And don't forget, go check out CoinEx if you do want to check out that bootcamp that they're doing, which is pretty damn cool. Go check out BTCC if you want to get ready to trade when the time is right. I do have a playbook coming for you all very soon. Stay tuned for that. Join the Discord server, which is linked down below if you want to start learning from pros today. And don't forget to follow me on the socials, which are linked down below if you do want to check them out. I do have a couple more videos coming soon. Had to acknowledge my dude Edward. What's up, man? Edward Horton, I always love seeing your comments. You make my day. Shout out to you. All my family loves you because they watch my vids and they love your comments. So shout out to you. I'm glad you survived the plane crash. Anyway, everybody, I appreciate you all joining in so much. I do plan on going live again before I do leave for my trip. So stay tuned for that. Check the videos. Check out the links down below. And I hope you guys all did enjoy. Good talking to you all. See you all now. Bye, Stein. I hate you.